Hi, welcome back to Fast Recap, and today I'm going to tell you about a 2014 movie called The Cobbler. If you like our video, you can support us by liking and subscribing. It's only a few seconds for you, but for us, it's a huge step towards our goal of 1,000 subscribers. 1903 in southeastern New York City. A group of Hebrew men meet at a local shoemaker shop to discuss a common problem. It seems that a local businessman is threatening their business. A group of men then hands Pincus a pair of boots. That same night, he sits down with the boots and begins repairing them on a mystical-looking sewing machine. His son walks into the room and asks his father about the machine, and the father explains why it is so special. The machine was a gift to his grandfather from an angel. In modern-day New York City, Max goes to work. He looks tired and depressed. We feel that he is not living the life he wanted. His job is as a cobbler, and he owns a store on the Lower East Side. He opens the store and takes it upon himself to fix a pair of boots. As Max drinks coffee outside, he notices his attractive neighbor Taryn talking on the phone. He continues to watch and become jealous as her boyfriend, Emiliano, walks over and packs into the car with her. At this point, Jimmy, the owner of the barbershop next door to Max, approaches. They talk while Jimmy asks Max about his personal life. He says he is worried about Max. Max is having lunch when a local activist named Carmen approaches him. She explains that she works for an organization that preserves the Lower East Side, and now they are trying to stop developers from turning the neighborhood into something it is not. She tells him that the developers are paying a lot of money to kick people out of their homes. She takes him outside and, showing him the town, says that this town is beautiful. It has a history that needs to be preserved. Max changes his mind and signs a petition against the development. Carmen then invites him to a rally in town. That same evening, Max returns home. He lives with his mother. The next day at work, Max is shining the shoes of a man named Leon Ludlow. Leon brags about his watch and how rich he is. Then he hands over a pair of shoes to have the soles replaced and demands that they be ready at 6 o'clock tonight. That night, Max starts fixing Leon's shoes, but his stitching machine breaks down. So he goes down to the basement to see if he has another one. Then he stumbles upon the same machine from the opening scene. As he works, Jimmy walks in and admires the machine. As he talks, Max makes another little remark about his father leaving him, but Jimmy rejects it. Later, Max sits in the store waiting for Leon to arrive. While waiting, he decides to try on his shoes. But when he looks in the mirror, he realizes that he has turned into Leon himself. He can't believe it. He freaks out and takes his shoes off, but then tries on another random pair and is confused when nothing happens. Max does a little digging in the store, picks up all his size shoes and stitches them on the magic machine, trying on each pair. To his delight, with each pair of shoes comes a new face, a new body, and a new life. The next day, he puts on a random pair of shoes and goes to a nearby barbershop to see Jimmy. Jimmy obviously has no idea who he is, which confirms once and for all that this is real. It's time to have some fun with the looks of the different types of people who pass through Max's store. Max fixes shoes and then wears them around town. While wearing shoes, Max even speaks in these people's accents, gets free food, and even impersonates Leon to steal a man's shoes and then steal his car. He asks his mother if she would like to be someone else, but she just tells him that she would like to be just a mother. He asks her if she could do anything for it. She says that all she wants is to have dinner with his father one last time. The next day, his attractive neighbor Taryn gives her boyfriend shoes to be fixed. Max sees that they are the same size as his, and putting on the shoes turns into Emiliano. He goes to a bar. Almost immediately, a woman recognizes him. She knows he has a girlfriend, but doesn't care. She convinces him to take her home, but when she finds out he lives in a poor part of town, leaves him on the road. Max decides to check out Emiliano's house. While he's inside, he accidentally walks into the shower and Taryn thinks it's her boyfriend and tries to get him into the shower. Max is about to join her, but then realizes that if he takes his shoes off, he will turn back and runs away. The next day, he runs into Carmen on the street. They talk and flirt a bit. She tries to talk him into coming to the office. He thinks about it and decides to go there in someone else's shoes, but even then he chickens out at the last minute, not being able to go there. That night, Max puts on his father's shoes and has dinner between him and his mother, looking like his father. It was a romantic night, and his mother doesn't wonder where he's been all this time. She's just glad he's back. They laugh, dancing and hugging each other. Before he takes off his shoes that night, Max says one last goodbye to his father. The next morning, Max enters his mother's room to find that she has passed away. He arranges a funeral. As he sits outside, Jimmy comes in and offers to help him. but Max refuses, saying he doesn't deserve any help. That same week, he returns to his store. Leon asks for his shoes. Max tells him that he needs a receipt, which Leon does not have. He says he will be back the next day. An angry Max goes after Leon. He uses several different pairs of shoes to avoid being recognized and follows him to his apartment. Once Leon leaves, he puts on his shoes and enters his apartment. His girlfriend is there and, thinking it is Leon, she argues with him, then says she is leaving him for good. Max searches Leon's apartment, hunting for his watch collection. At one point, he finds a suitcase full of guns and a taser. He puts it to his hand and passes out. A few hours later, he wakes up in a panic and runs out of the apartment and bumps into Leon with his head. He is frightened at first, but then starts fighting with Max. When he almost chokes him, Max knocks Leon out with a taser. Max ties the guy up. When he wakes up, Max interrogates him about where he keeps his watch. He asks Leon again where the watch is, and he tells him where he hid it. Max eagerly goes and gets it. He is ready to knock Leon back out, but a knock on the door is heard. It's Leon's guys coming to get him. One of them tells Max that he has to go and get the $50,000 for the job. Max walks out of the apartment with the two guys. On the way, they stop at a warehouse where Patrick the snitch is badly beaten. Max demands that they let him go. They all look confused but eventually agree. Next, Max comes to Elaine's house. She hands him $50,000 to take out the trash on Grand Street before Friday. He doesn't understand what the job is, but he gladly takes the money. Disguised as a woman, he returns home to finish the job. But Leon meets him with a gun in his hand and wants to strangle him. Max manages to throw him off by taking off his boots and turning back into himself. During this time, he tries to escape and accidentally kills Leon by hitting him with the stiletto of his heel. Confused, Max goes to the police and tells them what happened. When he brings them to Leon's apartment, all the evidence disappears. He can't explain it, and the police have no choice but to let him go. Confused, he returns to his store, where his bag with his shoes, money, and watch are still there. As Max is waiting for a cab, Jimmy comes out and asks what happened. Max tries to brush it off, but Jimmy is clearly concerned. He tells him that he is acting like his father. Max has no idea what he is talking about. Jimmy explains that his father got involved with bad people and had to disappear so they wouldn't get to Max and his wife. Max is furious that Jimmy never told him about this. Max tries to give the money back to the woman, but she is not happy, and one of her men knocks him out. Several hours later, Max wakes up in the back seat of the car. Thinking quickly, he puts on the dead man's shoes, which were in his bag. Turning into a kind of zombie, he startles the men behind the wheel, who go crazy and wreck the car. Max quickly runs away, scaring the children in the street. At work, Max picks up all the pieces of information. The job Leon was hired for was to kill the same man Carmen was trying to protect. Mr. Solomon's apartment, Elaine was going to burn down to kick him out. He hurries to tell Carmen about it, and they go to the old man together. Mr. Solomon says he will not leave the apartment, not even under pain of death. Max asks the old man what his shoe size is. The next day, Mr. Solomon meets Elaine and tells her that he will move out if she gives him $100,000 and a bus ticket to Chicago, where his daughter lives. She agrees. That evening, she sends two men to his apartment to pick him up and put him in the car. Before entering the apartment, Mr. Solomon forces the two men's henchmen to take off their shoes. Mr. Solomon goes to Chicago. Elaine calls one mercenary to go around the buildings and make sure they're empty. But Max uses the shoes to trick him, knocks one out posing as a mercenary, and calls Elaine and tells her the job is done. In Chicago, Mr. Solomon arrives with one of the mercenaries. Then the police show up and arrest him. Mr. Solomon smiles and leaves. Elaine enters Mr. Solomon's apartment shocked to find him there. She tells him that she's sick of playing games, and if he doesn't leave now, she will burn down the whole house with him and then kill his daughter. The doors open and show the camera crew that has been filming the whole time. The next day, a newspaper headline mentions that Elaine has been arrested. Carmen visits the store to get her shoes fixed and then suggests that Max go out to dinner the following Friday. Max disguises himself as Leon and tracks down his ex-girlfriend. He gives her a watch to sell, but when Leon leaves the apartment, the snitch Patrick, who Max previously left alive, grabs him and forces him into the car. Patrick tells Max that he is going to kill him, but before they have a chance, the car is hit by a truck. Max wakes up in Jimmy's barbershop and doesn't understand what is going on. They talk a little about his secret, and then Jimmy takes off his shoes and it turns out that he has been Max's father all along. Max demands to know what happened and why he left. The father explains that he had to do it for the safety of his family. He shows the shoe room and says that the art of shoemaking has been traced back for generations. He even has nice cars and a personal driver in an apartment in Brooklyn, which Max now owns. As Max and his father walk across the bridge to Brooklyn, his father tells him the story of how it all began. What do you think of the movie? Write your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more such videos.